welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is the first time you're watching. I know it's been a while since I've posted any content, and it's for, if not obvious reasons, I haven't really figured out what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. I've shot a couple different things, and I just don't really know what to say or what to do, and I think that's how a lot of people feel. I can't speak for everybody, but I think for me personally, the only way I've been able to kind of explain how I've been feeling over the last couple of weeks, more than a couple of weeks, I've been off of work. I think I'm going into like my 5th or 6th week, and it's just the only word that I can put to my feelings is weird, but also very conflicted. It's like, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. It's the conflicting feeling of like, it's beautiful and sunny outside, and that's the second plane I've seen today flying super low. That's weird. And Peachy is now escaped, and he is going to probably be squeaking up a storm. Hello! Yes, hello! Yes, hello! I think he's been very happy that I've been home every single day, basically, for the last little while, because he's just been terrorizing me. Back to what I was saying, it's just, I've had a lot of conflicting feelings about a lot of different things, like, you know, wanting to go outside to get some fresh air because I've been sitting at home for, you know, weeks on end, but then, of course, everybody's telling us to stay inside, and, you know, if I'm going on a bike ride, I'm feel good about going on a bike ride, and I have been lately, but then there's so many people on the path, and it's like, it's a very conflicting time, but at the same time, there's, you know, we gotta look at the bigger picture, and I've been making it a point to, you know, whenever I go to any store or grocery store or pharmacy or Dollarama, that I'm not there for a, oh, hello, you gonna say hi to everybody? You're just gonna poop on me. It's probably the latter. I've made it a point to make sure that, you know, I'm not in the store for more than 15 minutes at a time, because it's more anxiety inducing. I don't want to be in the store for more than 15 minutes because I don't want to be around a lot of people for, you know, an extended period of time. So it's been very nerve-wracking, like I'm sure it has been for a lot of people. But I finally today, there's 2 videos that I've wanted to shoot in the last 2 days, and I think I finally have felt, I don't know, comfortable enough to do them or shoot them, and this seems fairly, I don't know, this just seems like this is what I can do right now, and I kind of want to share with you because this is what I've been enjoying over the last couple of weeks, and it's been keeping me sane, so here we are. I'm gonna have to back up out of the shoot, or out of the shot a little bit, and Peachy, you're gonna have to just deal with me shifting around a little bit. I'm gonna lay out some paper as well, because I don't have any newspaper, and this is really the best that I can do, but basically, a couple of weeks ago, I planted a couple of plants, and for any of you who follow me on Instagram, would have seen a shot that I had posted, but I managed, before all this popped off, I went to Walmart, and I ended up picking up a couple of seeds. I've accumulated a couple of succulents over the last, I'd say, year now, 2 years now, that have grown, and I had to repot them. But I had bought a couple of seeds from Walmart of one of my favorite flowers here, which is these are my sunnies, my little sunflowers. And then here, who are also getting completely out of control, are some sweet peas, or what are supposed to be some sweet peas. As you can tell, they need some support, and I feel like I made a mistake with planting too many sunflowers into this pot. Plus, I've realized that they are obviously grown too tall, and this one needs a little bit more support, and it looks like he's been burnt or something from the sunlight. I don't know what this is, but anyways, long story short, I'm gonna repot these plants. I just went to my local Dollarama because I so happily noticed the other day when I gone to another one that they are selling potting dirt / soil. I'm sure that Walmart is probably still open, which is generally where I buy my potting soil. But honestly, it's just, for me to get to Walmart, it's too many buses, it's probably too busy, it's too many people, and it's too much of a risk. And obviously I don't know how big the line's gonna be, and then I'd have to get back on the bus, and it's too much traveling. So I decided that I'd go to my Dollarama down the street from me, and I picked up two new pots, because I found that these are a little bit deeper, so the roots will have more space to grow. So I bought these two. I bought this little adorable one that just has like some flowers. It looks like, I forget what that technique is called, but just put on there. And then this really happy orangey. I'm not a fan of orange, but something about this like coral orange, just the bright colors the simplicity of bright colors have made me happy. Oh, I also bought this for my phone for biking. And then I bought a couple of extra just sticks that I could help, form some sort of structure for these plants to grow around. And they also sell these really cool like circle things that helps support and structure the plants, except I'm not sure if this is going to be too big. I grabbed them anyways because, as you can tell, my mother loves plants, and if I'm not going to use it, she's going to end up using it. Oh, and then I bought some little toys extra for Max, who's currently sleeping in my bed right now. And then where is my pink twine? I bought twine and wire to help these guys restructure and just give them a little bit more support. I'm really excited about these beans because it seems like they're growing really well. And my mom kept saying there's no way you're gonna get flowers out of these. You'd be better off just planting them outside. And I'm like, I'm determined. We will plant flowers. So hopefully this is enough paper, or I'm gonna have a massive cleanup after this, but that's okay because I got time. So I'm going to, I think, let's tackle, the sunnies are a lot because there's a lot of them. There's a couple peeking out of the dirt as well. And I feel like this is gonna be a little bit more tricky. I'm sure there's probably some plant lovers out there that are gonna yell at me and tell me not to touch them and move them. But honestly, this wasn't ideal, and I made the mistake of just putting too many in here. So I think I'm gonna do those last. I think I'm gonna do the beans first. And I think I'm gonna put the beans in the super happy, colorful, coral colored pot because it's narrow. So my thinking is the roots will have more space to grow into. So I think I'm gonna even take my ring off because this is gonna get messy. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just dig my hands in here. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? Dig this guy out, which seemed to be fairly easy. And then I think I only planted 3 of, ow, please don't bite me. I think I only planted 3 beans in here. Yeah. Okay, so that was fairly easy. Then I'm going to just spread it out throughout the dirt to just help with the distribution of water. Yes, Peachy, I love you. Pretty bird. Who's a pretty bird? Who's a pretty bird? Peachy's a pretty bird. This is Peachy Face. If you guys, again, don't follow me on Instagram, this is my lovely little love bird. We have had him, honestly, I think this bird is honestly gonna outlive me because we have had him for at least, I think, 20 years. And I'm not exaggerating at all. I don't know how this bird has lived for as long as he has. And he's kind of a crazy story how we ended up getting him. In my old apartment, in the apartment I grew up in, we had a balcony, and we usually, the only thing my mom would let us get were smaller animals like hamsters or birds. We were really into birds always, so we always had budgies. At one point we had finches, and we ended up getting a girl and a boy, and they multiplied like crazy. I think by the end of it we had like 20 some odd birds because they just had multiplied. What's it called? We had budgies at the time, and during the summertime my mom would put them out on the balcony because it was so warm that it would just give them a chance to have some fresh air. And the crazier part was, one morning I think she ended up waking up to some noise, or my sister did, and there was this little yellow bird trying to bust into the cage to get food, and clearly I don't know how, we don't, to this day, we don't know where he came from. We don't know how old he is to begin with. And we ended up keeping him, and ironically, funny enough, I guess, the other birds ended up escaping and flying away, which I think a lot of birds end up doing that anyways. And he ended up staying. And then the funnier story, I think, the funnier part to this story is that I think he ended up escaping at some point as well, and nobody told me, and I was young enough that I guess I didn't realize it, and I was just oblivious to it, and he ended up coming back. So I think after that we ended up just keeping him inside or whatever, or like in the cage in the apartment. But we've had him, it's been about 20 years. He does not like being touched. He does not trust fingers or hands. He will bite. He is a very angry little bird a lot of the time. But at the same time, you're so pretty, aren't you? So pretty. Except you're kind of vicious sometimes. Just saying. So I'm just popping. I found these these plant supports initially, and then these are initially what I wanted, which are just bamboo skewers for barbecue. But I wanted some just taller sticks. I'm guessing, obviously, as these plants grow, maybe I'll be able to graduate to those. We shall see. Okay, I think that should be good for that guy. Let's see if I can. Okay. Nope, this guy is not all the way down. Okay, there. Okay, I think that is good. No, I just don't know. I got these super thin crafting wires because I figured this would probably be a little bit better than the string for the stalks, because these are very thin, so I don't want to damage them in any way. Hello. I think it was on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, or Sunday. It was so busy. Like, I couldn't believe how busy it was on. I had gotten all the way down to Ontario Place, like where their parking lot kind of ends, it's a massive parking lot. I could not believe how many people were walking on the pathway, like close by to each other. It's kind of mind-numbing sometimes, and it makes me not want to go outside ever again. But at the same time, I've been really enjoying actually biking and like cycling on this bike. I'm still getting used to it. I bought a racing bike last year with the intention to do an Ironman this year, which obviously at this point is probably not going to happen, which is okay. I am not in shape enough for it, if we're being honest. I don't have access to a pole either, and right now it's kind of the last of everybody's, like, that's kind of the last thing on my mind right now. I don't feel like I need to prove anything at this point when it comes to deciding to race at the moment. But I am a little bit disappointed because I genuinely wanted to do and pick up Spartan racing again this year. But at the same time, on the brighter side of all of this, I've been able to finally start working out again. I feel like I've lost quite a bit of weight. I have been doing push-ups like a maniac every single day, and I have muscles and strength in my arms that maybe aren't noticeable, but I have more strength in my arms and my shoulders than I have in a long time. Like, I haven't persistently and really just straight up, I haven't worked out in a year's time. Like, last year I barely did anything, and to now realize just how out of shape. Now I'm not so bad, but I'm like realizing the damage that even taking a year off can do. So I'm grateful that, you know, as much as I wish the world was back to normal and that whatever normal will be in the future, I'm grateful that I have this time to take care of myself. And get myself back into shape as best as I can with what I have. I don't have a home gym. I don't have access to a gym right now. My gym shut down weeks ago. I have 2 10-pound plates and my body, and that's all I've been using and all I've been doing. So it's lots of push-ups, lots of crunches, and then cycling. I tried running. I tried doing some running last week, but honestly, it's sad to realize just how far I've slipped out of shape, because I used to be able to run 10K with really no problem, and now I can barely run, 5 and just feel like but then again, running has always been a little bit difficult for me, just because I don't know, it's very hard for me to mentally like check out and like turn it off and just focus on running. It's so hard for me to shut my brain off, and just running in the city to me is quite boring. I prefer running in the woods, and I don't think currently we're allowed anywhere near High Park, and that would be as close to a wooded area as I could get currently. So there's that. So being able to get on a bike has definitely made me, feel some comfort in that my cardio isn't completely terrible, and that I do have some cardio strength. And at the end of the day, I just gotta work on it, and that's okay. And then I'll work on it and I'll get better. And that I can't keep beating myself up about it, because that's usually like where I struggle with just working out in general, is that I always end up just beating myself up about, just how out of shape I am, or at least like that's what I found in the last couple of months. And the reality is that I'll get back to where I was before. I just need to give it time, and I just need to work on it. And as long as I work on it, that's all I can ask for of myself, really. Okay, so we got 2 beanstalks down. Just gonna do this guy. I think I might do this guy a little bit higher up. And I got everything here that I bought was from Dollarama. So I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really grateful and happy. And this 10-pound, again, I don't know what the quality of this potting mix is, but I didn't even realize it was $3. No, sorry, $2.50 for 10 liters. So, if you are stuck inside or are trying to find something fun for your kids to do, or even for your own self, try and grow something. Oh, there are beans. So this guy, the big one, I just managed to twine around a wire. These 2 are a little bit smaller and still a little bit flimsy, so I put the wire into the dirt, and I still wrapped it around the stalk just very loosely. Hopefully that will help them grow upwards, and will just help the process of growing a little bit faster. So there's that. Now here's the little bit of a nightmare. Here's the other nightmare plants. I might even end up doing with these guys is I might end up splitting them up, because I do now have 2 planters. So this was the old one from the beans, and it looks like a log from a tree that's been hollowed out, but it's a planter. Also bought at Dollarama. I think I might end up splitting up the sunnies, just because there's too many of them in here, and I don't know what, I just didn't think that part through. So this guy is the floppiest. So my mom, initially what I did to help again circulate the water, I put this plastic half planter, but I'm seeing the error of my ways now because I don't, oh, it looks like the, okay, well, there, hey, get out of there. Leave the camera alone. It looks like the roots are coming through, but it's not, I don't think it's just, I don't think they're circulating well enough. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna split these guys up. I'm gonna do, it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I definitely overdid it on this one. Yeah. Oh, I guess I have 3 planters. Durr. So maybe I can even split it up. Peachy, you're being kind of a little shit right now. So there is a Sunny. This is a sunflower. I don't know if I'm ever actually gonna get flowers out of these. I really hope that I do because I love me some sunflowers. They are one of my favorite flowers. I'm sure that, you know, for those of you who have knowledge in plants can tell me that there's probably a very good chance that nothing's gonna come of these as far as flowers go. But we shall see. We'll see what happens. I think I got everybody out. Let's just see. Yeah, there's just too many plants, and they're just not doing well. Okay, so I'm gonna put, these 2 guys seem to be cozied up together. So I'm gonna put those guys in here. Oh no, I think I have to bust into this dirt. That's okay. So I'm just gonna wire this guy up like that because I don't want to do too much more damage to these guys, because these guys, I clearly made the mistake of planting obviously too many again in one planter. So let's see if I can just save all of them. And I am making a mess. I think the interesting part to this whole, I guess, quarantine experience has been like interacting with other people and just seeing what it's like and thinking about what it's gonna be like in the future, and at the same time like what dating is gonna be like. And I mean, they're saying now we won't be able to shake hands with anybody in the future. Just like, I ended up ordering a really funky mask, maybe not funky, but in my opinion a really cool mask from, I think the company's called Anchor Sand. I found them on Instagram and I love their super, I guess it could be called edgy. I think it's just really cool designs that they put on t-shirts and just artwork that they put out and all that. I ended up purchasing one of their masks because at this point, like, I'd rather find and wear masks that are really well designed or just like have a really cool print, because at this point I think they've mentioned, I think plenty of places all over the world have mentioned a cloth mask or some sort of mask is better than none at all. So just been on the hunt for fun new masks, that I feel like are probably going to become a part of our everyday. So honestly, at this point, either way, I think if I don't end up needing the mask because of, you know, health reasons, I have plenty ideas for the summer as far as for art reasons while I'll be needing a mask. So that mask is going to get used at some point or another. Stem of this plant. I keep saying stalk. I don't know why I keep saying stalk. Oh, this is something I could bring up. Jerseys, cycling jerseys. Why are they so hard to find? Why are there no really like awesome designed cycling jerseys? And why are they all like $300? Can somebody explain that to me, please? Like, I don't understand. Why are they so expensive? That's been like the most shocking thing over the last couple days. I've been trying to find, I ended up finding, to be quite honest, the jersey that I currently have, I found at a Valley Village for like $4. And I think it's a little too small for me, but it does the trick, at least for now. And I'm like completely surprised that I've gone online. I always knew that they were expensive because I used to work for a store that sold cycling like clothes and jerseys and stuff. So I always had a general idea that they were really expensive, but I didn't realize that they are that expensive. And why am I paying a company to wear their brand or their logo and like spend not only, like, we're not talking a t-shirt that's like $50 or $40 at max, like $50 at max. We're talking like, again, $200 for a freaking jersey. I don't think so. So can anybody recommend either a company that makes at least really cool design jerseys, or I don't know, just something else that's worth the freaking cost? Somebody please tell me. Educate me, please. Because that would be great.
Yes. Hello. Can I help you? Yes. Hello.
Okay, one more to go, and we are done. And then I gotta clean up this giant ass mess. Alright. Oh, what have you all been watching? I know that Tiger King obviously blew up like 2 weeks ago and everybody watched that. Who watched it? Honestly, I watched it begrudgingly and I was so disturbed. Okay, I hear you, my tiger, my little tiger. You don't want to go to sleep yet, do you? Alright, here you go. After the first episode, I actually had a really hard time getting through the first episode because I found it incredibly disturbing. The second they started talking about the fact that they're starving tigers and the way they were treating them, it triggered something inside of me, and I found it incredibly disturbing, and I didn't like it at all. And I watched it just to kind of get through it and to obviously hear the end of the story or hear the end of it. But honestly, by the last episode, by halfway through the series or the season, I just started fast forwarding through it because it made me so uncomfortable to see how they were treating those animals. It's so disgusting and it's so unacceptable. I don't understand how people, I can't sit here and say that I've never gone to a zoo in my entire life because I have. I've gone to a zoo before, but just something about the fact that these sanctuaries exist is just sanctuaries exist, and these kinds of zoos, like these roadside zoos exist, is just, it's mind-blowing that they exist in present time. It's really disturbing, and it's just bloody amazing that there are no laws to protect animals at all when it comes to large cats. Who wants a 500-pound, 400-pound tiger just in their backyard? That just sounds like a whole world of just fear and terror that I don't need in my life. and I didn't even find it comfortable to watch. It's so bizarre. It was so hard to digest. Not only the people like fucked up on so many levels, but just the way the animals are treated, that was honestly the hardest part for me to digest. And I feel like a lot of people that are talking about it on either podcasts or social media are like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It should be the craziest thing you ever seen, because the way those poor animals are being treated, the fact that they're not eating and they're being starved to death, and some are being killed and murdered, and like, I'm not a PETA person, but I just draw the line at animal abuse. I cannot, like, I just can't digest, I can't process that at all. So much so that I'm spilling my coffee everywhere. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. That's just how I personally feel about it. I can't sit here and pretend like it's the coolest show I've ever seen or series. It was, so much of it was just impossible to digest. The people, it's like, the story of the people is almost like, yeah, I can imagine that there are people that are like this messed up and like this manipulative and strung out on drugs. Like, I could believe that part of it, but it's the part that they're getting away with the animal abuse is the part that I can't wrap my mind around. That's the part I genuinely can't. I think he'll be the last one, and then we're done. I'm really excited for the beans. I really hope I can have some beans that grow, because I am a giant fan of some sweet peas and beans. And then I can water these guys, and I think I need to move them from where I have them currently. Peachy, what you doing? Hey, don't be biting the camera. I do have to say, I'm forever grateful that I do have animals that have been keeping me entertained, because honestly, they have been able to keep me going through all of this. So as much as he poops on me and bites me and is very aggressive towards me and gets in the shot, honestly, this bird has kept me sane for the last couple of weeks. So maybe I should just change your name to Wilson instead of Peachy Face. Peachy, I think we're done. Are we done? I think we're done. So let me grab you guys and show you the final product. So there we are. I've repotted the beans, sunnies, more sunnies. So hopefully that'll give them a fighting chance, and this will give them just a better chance of growing a little bit better, because they're very droopy and they need more water and all that. So hopefully that'll help. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I think I'm gonna post or do another video tomorrow. There is a piece of artwork that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks, and I'm very close to being done. So I think I've been doing time lapses of me working on the whole thing as I've been going. So I think what I might do is I might just record the last little bit of footage of me finishing it off, and then post that as well. So if you guys want to come and hang out with me and watch the magic happen with the art, then that'll be tomorrow. But thanks for hanging out with me. It's been very lonely. Honestly, the last couple of weeks, that's been the hardest part. Is really, for me, the hardest part has been just trying to digest not being able to see my friends, not being able to hug my friends, not being able to touch anybody, not being able to like come into physical contact. And that's definitely been the hardest part. And everything else, it feels like standing in lines at the grocery store, the not being able to go to certain places, like that part, all of that, I feel like I can get used to and I can wrap my mind around. But it's the like no contact with people that's I think, the hardest part out of all this. It's been very lonely, and I'm sure just like a lot of people, the like wave of emotions that I've gone through, like from morning, afternoon, and night is just that, like, I can't keep up with it. And there was 1 week that was really hard where I just was losing my mind. I was falling asleep really late at night, like we're talking like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then I was waking up at like the latest I would wake up would be like noon or 1 o'clock, which for me is unheard of. Even now my sleep schedule isn't back to perfect anyways, but I'm working on that. But yeah, there was this 1 week where it was just really rough. Like I would get up, sit on my couch, listen to the news, not do anything all day, and then just eventually I'd look out the window and it was pitch black outside, and you're like, oh, okay, well, where did the day go? And then I just realized I needed to change whatever it was, like the process that I was going through. I needed to change my day-to-day habits to just be in a better headspace, which definitely did help. And just like focusing as much as I can on the positives. And, you know, for the most part, I think the scariest part is that there is only so much control that we have, but we really don't have control over the situation, which I think is what's tripping everybody up. But it's just really trying to adapt to the unpredictability of all of this, and that's all I'm trying to do, is really just focus on that and try and be happy in between all that. So I enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. I gotta clean up this giant mess, and I think I'm going to suit up and grab my bike and go for a bike ride, because the sun is still out and it's still really nice outside. The air is really cold, which is gonna make this the crappy part of a bike ride. But I want to go out for at least an hour and get my like daily workout in. But yeah. Yes, hello. Peachy, you got anything to say? Oh, there you go. Word from Peachy. Yeah. Main goal of all of this during this period of time is get my abs back. I'm on track. I will slowly get my abs back. Right, Peachy? Right? Alright. Well, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.